My mother's all the time, she doesn't like Islam, but she became sick. It was cancer. In that time, I'd started making dua. I remember opening the Quran first time, and I remember, of course, one of the most important verses of my life, Inna ma'al usri yusran, Inna ma'al usri yusran. This difficulty that you're in, it will come to an end. Every doctor I met said the same thing to me. They said, you had a miraculous, how is this book possible? Then she came to me, Allahu Akbar. So she gave her shahada in Arabic.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, sahabat semuanya. Kisah kali ini datang dari Rahim Jang, ayah daripada penyanyi muslim asal Inggris yakni Harris J. Rahim Jang lahir dari ibu seorang ateis dan ayah seorang muslim, namun tidak begitu religius. Oleh karenanya, Rahim kecil tumbuh sebagai seseorang yang meragukan keberadaan Tuhan dan tidak percaya pada agama apapun. Lalu bagaimanakah awalnya dia bisa mendekat kepada Islam?
I was literally inside a party. Music and people and everybody was there in this big party. And my uncle, he had recently become religious. And it was Ramadan. I didn't even know it was Ramadan. And he came and he knocked on the door of the party and he knew I was there. And he called me and he said, I want you to come to the mosque tonight. I said, I'm here with my friends. I said, uncle, please. And another day, no problem. He said, no, tonight. And again, I said, I can't leave. And he said, I'm not arguing, I'm telling you. And I didn't know it was Laylatul Qadr. And he took me to the local mosque. And I remember the dua in the Qunut. And I wasn't joining in, I was sitting at the back of the mosque. And I felt the power. Ameen. I remember saying, I just sat there and I said, look, God, I don't know if you're there, but I tell you this, I'm not giving up my lifestyle. I said, I'm not giving. My life is too good. I said, if you want this for me, then you have to do something. You have to show me. From then, things started to just go down and down and down and down until I genuinely feared that I was losing my mind. I was unable to function properly. I was unable to work. I was unable, my relationships became sour and all went wrong, and my career went wrong. Everything went wrong. And really, I went into a spiral which led to a sort of breakdown. I was so lost. And I remember one day, one of my cousins, he met, again, same thing, the son of my uncle who took me to the mosque. He took me to meet somebody, an imam. And I remember the imam kept saying to me the same thing. He was talking, he kept saying, traveling with no direction. And I felt that I was moving, but I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was the point of life. I didn't know what was important. And I remember I was in this job and I fell asleep. I fell asleep in my chair. I just remember waking up, brother, I felt like, I can't explain it. I felt like I was floating in the middle of the universe with nothing. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what was happening. I just felt this crisis.
Masalah demi masalah silih berganti mendatangi Rahim, karena perkataannya yang menantang Tuhan. Perlahan sejak saat itu ia mulai kehilangan pekerjaannya. Hubungannya dengan sang kekasih pun hancur, sampai ia sendiri merasa stres dengan kesulitan yang ia dapatkan. Dari situ dia sadar bahwa Tuhan itu ada. Sampai pada suatu waktu ia membuka dan membaca Al-Quran, Allah menjawab kegelisahannya dalam sebuah ayat.
For the first time, I made dua. And I didn't know what I was saying. I didn't know what I was doing. I said, oh God, please, God, please help. And I'd even opened the Quran. I remember opening the Quran first time. And I remember, of course, one of the most important verses of my life to this day. For Inna ma'al usri yusran, Inna ma'al usri yusran. This difficulty that you're in, it will come to an end. It will come to an end. And I remember just holding on to that. Like with everything, I held on to that verse, that maybe some ease was going to come after this crisis.
Semakin ia baca, semakin ia tertarik dengannya. Itulah yang dirasakan Rahim ketika membaca Al-Quran untuk pertama kalinya. Dan Al-Quran inilah yang menjadi alasan Rahim kemudian memeluk Islam. Masya Allah.
For me, the thing that brings me back without any doubt is the Quran. And the more we learn about the Quran, the more we find out with science and with maths and with computers, and the more we analyze it, the more miracles come out of the Quran.
Namun tidak berhenti sampai di situ saja. Masalah baru datang dari sang ibu. Begitu mengetahui putranya itu masuk Islam, dia menjadi sangat marah dan kesal terhadap keputusan putranya itu. Tetapi tak berselang lama, sang ibu divonis mengidap kanker. Dan di akhir hidupnya, alhamdulillah, dia bersyahadah melalui perantara salah satu cucunya. Masya Allah.
My mother's all the time, there's something was in her heart. It was against religion. It was against faith. It was against religious people. And it didn't really change. Even after 15 years, if I was praying, she was walking through, she would go like that. But she became sick. It was cancer. She had cancer. Then she came to me and she said, I need to have a serious conversation with you. She said, look, I've told your brother and your sister that when I die, I want to be cremated. She said, that's my wish. I said, no problem. Whatever you wish is your wish. I said, but hold on. I said, but have you thought of the practicalities? What's going to happen? She said, what do you mean? She said, well, look, I said, if you die here in our home, I said, some strangers are going to come and take you. I said, who are these people? I said, they're just paid undertakers. They're going to come and take you. I said, then they will undress you. I said, then they will pump you full of chemicals to preserve your body. I said, then they will put makeup on your face. Then they will do your hair. Then they will put you in a dress. I said, who are these people? She said to me, she said, what's the alternative? I said, your sons will carry you and no one will see you and your dignity will be preserved at all times. I said, and you will take them to the local center. I said, your daughters will wash you. And I said, you'll be wrapped in a simple white cloth. And I said, and you'll be buried in the ground within one day. She said, that's what I want. Now I've got a problem. She's not Muslim. So now I've got a problem. Okay. So now I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? This is all just me in my head. What am I going to do now? My mother's not Muslim. She wants a Muslim burial. I can't go to the Imam, say, please do janazah for my mother. She's not Muslim. What am I going to do? And I got my first chance. Because she was a nurse, her favorite thing was medicine. She used to marvel at the human body. So I said to her one day, I said, the way the body works and how incredible it is. I said, do you think it's possible that this is designed? It didn't just happen by chance. She said, I think so. I said, okay. I left it. That's it. I left it. Then I came back next time. I said, we spoke last time, I said, about the possibility of a creator. I said, do you think it's possible that that creator might have sent us people, good, righteous people to guide us, like Jesus and like Abraham and like Moses and like Muhammad? Like that, just putting it in there like that. I'm so scared that she's going to say no. She said, yeah, I think that's possible. Now, in my heart, that's enough. Because I'm afraid that if I say to her, say Shahada, she'll say, what? I'm not saying this. And then I'm stuck. In my heart, I thought, that's enough. Alhamdulillah, I'll tell the Imam, she said she believes in God and she believes in Muhammad. Alhamdulillah, that's enough. We can bury her. So I came down and I said to my wife and my son, I said, Alhamdulillah, she said she believes in a God. She said she believes that there are prophets. It's enough. My son, he said, it's not enough, Amba. It's not enough. I said, wait. He said, let me go and talk to her. I said, no, because if she says no, then we're stuck. He went upstairs. It felt to me like he was up there for 5 hours. I was just walking left and right, left and right, left and right. And he came, I don't know how long it was. I said, what happened? He goes, yeah, but no problem. She gave Shahada. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. So she gave her Shahada in Arabic. Alhamdulillah. This is the greatest miracle of my life. And she's buried, alhamdulillah, in a Muslim cemetery. Alhamdulillah.
Dan terakhir, ada kisah menarik dan mengharukan terjadi pada Rahim. Setelah menjadi seorang Muslim, Rahim bekerja di banyak badan amal internasional. Menjadi relawan mengantarkan bantuan bagi mereka yang membutuhkan. Sampai ketika dia sedang dalam perjalanan menuju Selandia Baru, Rahim mendapati musibah yang begitu mengerikan, yang hampir saja merenggut nyawanya. Namun apa yang terjadi setelahnya?
I've been lucky enough to work with many Muslim charities. I see the miracle of sadaqah all the time. I was at a charity dinner and this dinner was raising money for a particular cause, and I'll tell you what that cause was. I had an intention to give a certain amount of money. I came prepared to give a certain amount of money. I knew it was a charity dinner. And I said to my wife, I said, look, this is quite a unique thing. So imagine we save one person. Actually, this thing, and we just save one, but I said, let's give more. She said, okay, let's give more. And we gave 6 times the amount that we intended to give. A few days later, I was leaving on a trip. We were doing some filming and we were doing some charity work in New Zealand and Australia. On the way back in New Zealand, we had 1 day spare where we went to some tourism and we went to these amazing caves, these Maori caves. We're driving back from that and there was an accident and I came out of the car. The door flew open and I came out of the car 100 kilometers per hour. And the first thing that hit the ground was my head. My brains are coming out of my head. The whole back of my head is all open. It's unbelievable. Because I just bounced along the road. And I remember when the ambulance came, I was just sitting there. I didn't lose consciousness. I was sitting there on the side of the road. There was a blanket over my head, and I remember she lifted up my back first of all, and all the skin on my back was gone. And then she lifted the blanket off my head, and she saw my head injuries, and immediately her voice changed, and she said, "I want an emergency airlift. We want helicopter airlift now. Extensive head injuries, side of the road. I need an emergency airlift now." And they sent a helicopter, and I had to be taken by helicopter. From the moment of the accident, Allah knows I was fine. My heart was fine. Every doctor I met said the same thing to me. They said, "You had a miraculous escape." When I was in the hospital, they were searching me for brain damage. They said, "No sign of any brain damage at all." And in my heart, I knew 100% what that miracle was. Because that fundraising dinner, which was just a few days before I left for New Zealand and Australia, was for the people of Gaza. It was 2014, and you remember the attacks on Gaza in 2014? And this was for a brain pressure sensor to protect the people of Gaza from having brain damage when they had brain injuries. That's what that donation was for. It was to protect them. And I said to my wife, imagine we saved one person from brain damage. I knew 100% that my donation had saved me. Alhamdulillah.